Hello, my name is Vanessa Cruz and this is my multimedia product. I will be focusing on learning theories and instruction. Looking at the overview, I will go over andragogy, including the focus and explanatory reasoning, as well as an explanation of the aspects integrated into my training or lesson plan template. Finally, there is an overview of my professional area of expertise, background, knowledge bases regarding learning theories, and instruction. Okay, there's a quite interesting discussion taking place among technology experts, and that is the need for teachers to move from a pedagogical focus to one that features andragogical approach. The shift comes in direct response to the greater push to implement technology in today's classrooms. According to Connor, andragogy is initially defined as the art and science of helping adults learn, but is now taking on a broader meaning. The term was originally used by Alexander Kapp, a German educator, and it was developed into theory of adult education by the American educator Malcolm Knowles. The term currently defines an alternative to pedagogy and refers to learner-focused education for people of all ages. Okay, so why andragogy? Learners must know why something is important to learn. And it is a lot easier to understand something if you know why you're doing it. Although it sounds like common sense, a lot of teachers don't do this. So under the approach of andragogy, we tell the learners why we're doing something, which I really do think it's important. Secondly, learners must be shown how to direct themselves through information. A lot of times we need direction in order to know what to do with that information. Third, the topics must be related to the learner's experience, which is something that applies mainly to adults. Knowles himself admits that this is the only assumption that does not apply equally to adults and children, mainly because children have fewer experiences and pre-established beliefs than adults and therefore have less to relate. So this is the only one that doesn't apply to children. All other assumptions do apply. Number 4, people will not learn until they are ready and motivated to learn, which is true, especially for children, and therefore teachers must help learners overcome inhibitions, behaviors, and beliefs about learning. And the last one, in a current information age, we certainly need a shift from a teacher-centered to a learner-centered education, and the results, I think, would be amazing. Postponing this move will slow our ability to learn new technology and gain competitive advantage. So I think we're ready for a change. Okay, so when we're in doubt about the approaches, just ask yourself, how can we expect to analyze and synthesize so much information if we turn to others to determine what should be learned, how will it be learned, and when will it be learned? Okay, this table shows some of the differences between andragogy and pedagogy, and this is really where you can see why I decided to go for andragogy approach rather than pedagogy. Although I'm teaching children in an elementary level, I do think that there is plenty of room for them to be more independent, more responsible for their own learning. They're more self-directed, and I really just act as a facilitator and a guide to their own knowledge rather than supplying them with a bunch of facts. So this is really where it shows you both of the approaches and everything that they have in common, and differences, of course, too. Okay, now I have my training or lesson plan format, which is the template that I've decided to use for this course, and I've added a picture right next to it so you can see. As far as the components of the template, it all starts with an anticipatory set, which is kind of like an attention getter, something that motivates you to listen to what I have to say. Then we goes to instructional objective, and we really all need instructional objectives in our lessons because it tells the students what they will be able to do as a result of the lesson. It follows by the instructional input, which is an explanation and instructions. Then we have modeling, where you demonstrate and you actually show what you just told them. Then we have guided practice, where it helps students start practicing new skills and applying new knowledge. Followed by independent practice, where students work on their own, homework, for example, or just individual assignments. And lastly, we have assessments, where you check for understanding and you demonstrate the student's knowledge with different types of assessment. Okay, my area of expertise, I am a bilingual third grade school teacher at Garfield Elementary. And nowadays, it is clear that government, private industry, and research organizations are getting more involved with improving the quality of education by creating programs and federal guidelines to ensure that all students receive a high quality education. And it's really interesting to see this emphasis on high quality of education. I've actually attended the University of Houston main campus. I got my bachelor's degree on interdisciplinary studies with an emphasis of elementary education, and now I started my master's on instructional technology. I'm a huge technology fan, so it just goes with my personality. My primary goal as a teacher is to guide children in order to succeed throughout the year. I truly believe that children are most successful when they feel valued as individuals, supported, and motivated to learn. And as a teacher, it is my responsibility to create and maintain a learning environment with these things in mind. I think I facilitate the process of learning by creating a student-centered classroom where the children participate and create and understand their own objectives so they really know what's going on. Learning theories. I personally associate the most with the constructivism theory. I strongly believe that knowledge is a process and it is built up through our experiences, culture, and environment. As a bilingual teacher, collaborative learning gives my students an advantage since there's a lot of interaction going on. My learning environment is a safe and organized classroom where routines and responsibilities that have been previously established by my students make learning easier. And my classroom gets a little loud, but they do interact with each other and they're learning a new language and they're growing and it really works. There are high expectations and individualized goals for each student. And as far as motivation, I utilize a lot of positive reinforcement as well as a reward system. And I see that after building a relationship with each of my students, they really connect to the learning and they become masters of their own growth, which is my ultimate goal. In regards of instruction, it is very important that we take into account the way that each person learns. I personally consider myself mostly as a visual learner with some characteristics of an auditory one. I learn best when information is presented visually and in a written format. In my classroom, I have the tendency to teach in those two styles, and sometimes it's hard for me to incorporate activities for kinesthetic learners, but I'm trying my best. Reflecting on instruction made me realize that knowledge is truly priceless and never-ending, so we always have something to learn. My father would always quote the philosopher Socrates. Questions, and only questions, are used to provoke curiosity and at the same time serve as a logical step-wise guide that lets you figure it out a difficult topic or issue with your own thinking and insights. And my last page is the references. I want to thank you for your time and I hope you enjoyed my presentation.